Afternoon. Happy Thursday. Happy Thursday, right before a long weekend. Americans and Canadians are both celebrating a long weekend this weekend. My name's Crystal Almeida, and today it's the first Thursday of the month, and myself and Dr. Catherine are here bringing you a live conversation, empowering female entrepreneurs through candid conversations. And we do this the first Thursday of every single month. So if you haven't caught on, definitely give us a follow. Make sure you're following along, and catch us next month, the first Thursday of every month. Today, we kind of came up with a topic that was, I think, a pain point, but also an empowerment point that I think hits all female entrepreneurs. And we were talking about leading with excellence and serving with excellence instead of obligation. Ooh, see, that's a pain point, right, Dr. Catherine?
Oh, yeah.
Dr. Catherine, I think I'm frozen there.
Yes, you are. We'll give it a few seconds. But while we allow the internet to reconnect with Crystal, I'll just tell you who I am. So I am Dr. K Tap. My full name is Dr. Catherine Tapper. And as Crystal said, we were having this conversation around, we always have obligations within our business. And it's so important for us to not be bogged down by those obligations and really shift our focus to one of service and of leading our lives and our business in a different way. Okay, so she came off and I'll wait for her to hop back on. So I personally am a holistic health and wellness curator. I'm a family medicine physician. I am a speaker, author, and what I do is I help women to glow in their wellness from within so that they're not compromising their wellness for their purpose-driven work. And I really serve and help high-achieving purpose-driven women like myself, because I've learned so many different things and have had so many different experiences along the way. And those lessons that I've learned have allowed me to grow. And I want to share what I have learned and how I am living now so that I am living more holistically well and also being able to pursue my purpose-driven work, which is to serve other women. So we're waiting for Crystal to come back on. Sometimes these things happen, so we just go with the flow. So one of the things that I want us to think about when we're thinking about leading and serving in excellence rather than obligation is to think about the word excellence. Because sometimes we may be thinking about perfection rather than excellence, wanting to get things done the right way, whatever that might mean for you. And that perfectionism can keep us stuck, right? That perfectionism, here she is. Glad to have you back. So I was just introducing myself and also just starting off with one of the points that I think that we need to think about. And I was sharing with the audience that when we're thinking of leading and serving with excellence, right, instead of obligation, sometimes we need to focus on that word excellence, because a lot of the times we're not really thinking about excellence, we're thinking about perfection. And that's one of the things that I wish wasn't even in the English dictionary or whatever dictionary, Spanish dictionary, French dictionary, because we can get trapped in that perfectionism when we really need to think about, okay, how can we serve with high quality? What is the value that we are giving to our customers, our clients, whatever business that you are in? And having that mindset shift of really excellence, when you just even think about the word, that just brings a whole other energy, at least to me, when I'm saying the word. And so when you're thinking about that and you are showing up in that excellence, right, you're giving from a different energy and it is received that way from your customers and clients as well. Anything you wanted to add to that, Crystal?
I love that. I feel empowered when we use the word excellence and, serving with excellence. And it doesn't mean just like you said, I think sometimes we take the word excellence that we need to be excellent, we need to be perfect, all the T's need to be crossed and I's need to be dotted, right? And it's almost like fulfilling a role. But instead, if we actually take the word excellence and empower ourselves by reminding ourselves the reason that we're leading with excellence is because we're the expert. The reason we're leading in the field or leading in our business like we are is because we have a gift. We have a gift of excellence, a skill that we get to lead and serve with. So I 100% agree. I think it's very empowering. And if we look at that word excellence, not as a duty to fulfill in that role, but more of an empowering word to remind us that we've been given a gift and we have the opportunity to be excellent in our leadership role in how we service others.
I love that, because when you're shifting how you're thinking about it, you're aligning with your why. You're always coming back to, as you said, the reason why you're doing that. And that keeps you connected to your mission, right? And that is so important as we go through life, as we go through our business, and set that foundation and scale within our business as well.
I have to ask the question right now, Dr. Catherine. Okay, I'm going to ask you and anybody watching this video right now, drop it in the comments. Who comes to mind? Now, there's lots of leaders in the world. There's tons of CEOs, incredible leaders. People have been uber successful in our world. However, who are the people that will always know of their excellence in leadership? It was because they had passion and purpose. It wasn't an obligation. It wasn't because they had to serve. It was because their passion exuded from their leadership. They had a servant type leadership mindset. And so I want to ask you right off the top, what names could you drop in the comments that you think of as a leader that brings you that type of energy, that excellence energy? And I have to say right off the top, I think we're all going to agree, Oprah Winfrey has always been a leader of excellence and not obligation. Dr. Catherine, what do you think about that?
Yes, I completely agree with you on that one. And I'm loving that we are thinking about, okay, who comes to mind first? Because they're setting the example, or you're making them an example of which you want to follow. And I agree with you. Oprah Winfrey is definitely one of those leaders, well-known leaders, who really speaks from her heart, right? She really aligns, her actions are in alignment with her purpose, and you can vividly see it with everything that she does. One person that came to mind was my mother, right? Because she was the first example of being a leader in my life. She was a person who always gave of service with everything that she did. She was a mother to many, and she was a part of her Kiwanis Club and all of that. So she passed away. She made her transition 4.5 years ago. But she came to mind because that's why I love what I do. I love serving, because she set that amazing example. And yes. So that would be my number one example.
I love that. And, I think when I bring up Oprah Winfrey as well, I think what we got to see in her leadership throughout the years was she led with empathy. She led with passion, purpose. She interviewed those she wanted. Like, you saw it in everything that she did, right? And giving back and having that empathy, and when we get down to it, when I really think about it, I think those who get to serve in excellence, and I think those who are still serving under obligation are just still kind of chipping away at the iceberg to figure out what is that sweet spot in your zone of genius in serving in excellence. And I say that because sometimes it is difficult. You have a great business, you service, you create impact, but getting down to the very root of what makes you excellent sometimes takes some deep work to get through and to figure that out, right? And I think it's getting down to what pain point are you solving, and what skill do you get to bring to this table to help people serve people and solving that pain point. And the other name you think of right away is there's been great male leaders as well, but another female that I can think of is the founder of Spanx. led by a woman. She had a need, she had an issue, she had something that was challenging herself, and then solved a pain point for other women. And she led that company through passion, through purpose, through trying to solve a problem that other women were facing in the world. So when I think about people leading through excellence, it's really, I think the only people I think about are people who lead with the passion and purpose, and you can almost feel that energy from them.
Absolutely. And I love to hear the stories behind how they became successful and how they became this great leader. I love the stories behind them because a lot of it has to do with the pain, right? Their purpose and their passion came from something that really struck them at their core, and what they learned from it and how they could now help other people so that they could live a more fulfilling life in whatever area or avenue of of their lives. Yeah.
Dr. Catherine, let's share. How did this topic actually come to play, and why was it a pain point and something we thought was important to discuss and tell other female entrepreneurs about how to serve in excellence? And let's take it away from such a major painted picture of Oprah Winfrey or, the founder of Spanx. Let's bring it down to just being an entrepreneur, being a female-owned business owner. And we started talking about this because it was about showing up on social media and feeling like you're obligated, feeling like you have to show up on social media, feeling like you have to go and do things in your business. Sure, there's lots of things that we have to do in our business that need to get done to keep that ball moving. However, social media, I think there's two sides of the coin. Yes, you do need to market yourself, but who said showing up on lives or showing up every single day has to be that obligation? Why is it turned into an obligation? Why are we not just leading with excellence and leading with passion and purpose, and actually only showing up on the days where we have that passion, where we have that fire, instead of showing up under obligation? And I think we've gotten into a little bit of a toxic culture, especially after the pandemic, in realizing, yes, there's free marketing opportunities by using social media platforms. And I encourage every single female entrepreneur out there, leverage free marketing opportunities through social media platforms. But if you're catching yourself or you're hearing yourself, oh, I have to show up on Instagram today, or oh, I have to post every single day, or I didn't create a reel today. I think this conversation, it was to alleviate you from that, to free you from those chains of obligation, and to bring you back to the core of why you do what you do. And it's because you're a leader who has the opportunity to serve with excellence.
Absolutely. That have to feeling doesn't feel good at all. Can we all agree on that? Just drop that into the chat. Who wants to have that feeling of needing to and having to do something when you really know that it's exhausting, and you just don't have that mental or even physical space to achieve that thing? And I'm happy that we had that conversation privately and that we're bringing it publicly, because it's something that we all feel at some point, but we're just not discussing it. And for us to come on here and say, okay, just let go of that. Let go of that have to feeling and be more in alignment with the mission, the core values for yourself, as well as your business. And one thing I think we need to really realize is that consistency is more important than frequency.
I love that. So true. And when you're planning to be consistent, really be honest with yourself on the level of frequency
Yes.
that will allow you to be consistent. And truth be told, Dr. Catherine and I do this once a month. And when we first started, I think both of our personalities, and I think all of us right now are like, okay, let's do it every single week, every single Thursday. And then we both took a step back and said, wait a second, we don't want this to turn into an obligation. We want this to be something that we're happy to do, to show up, be excited to do it. And so we measured our frequency to being once a month, and not having it eventually turn into an obligation. I think it's fair to say everybody who starts off on social media marketing your services or your businesses or posting or going live, you start off with the great intention. You start off with the intention that I'm loving doing this. I want to be doing this. But as a business owner or a female entrepreneur, it is just not realistic to be able to show up every single day and still be able to manage all of the other obligations you have in your business. So I think frequency, you're so right. Consistency matters more than frequency, but to know what you can be consistent at, you really have to give yourself a realistic frequency timeline.
Absolutely. And as we're talking about the obligation, when you feel obligated, you can feel very overwhelmed with that. And that significantly impacts your wellness. And, I'm all about holistic health and wellness. So it's so important, like Crystal said, to reflect and be honest with yourself. Listen to your mind, your body, your spirit, what's going on in your business, so that all of them can be aligned in that same frequency, so that you can really show up the way that you want to show up and serve in the way that you really want to serve, right?
The other thing too, Dr. Catherine, I think this needs to be, let's rip the Band-Aid off on this, truth that nobody says out loud. But if you are showing up as a new business owner, female entrepreneur, not even a new business owner, I'd say in your first 5 years of running your own business, you are kind of wearing multiple hats. You're wearing lots of hats. You're learning how to build and scale and sustain your business. That showing up on social medias every single day or multiple times a week is actually not the most productive use of your time. It will burn you out. It is not allowing you to actually focus on the important quadrant of tasks that you're needing to accomplish. So if you were to actually just focus on showing up out of obligation multiple times a week, you're actually hurting your business in the long run, because that's not the most important task. If you showed up on social media every single day, but didn't work on the back end of your business, you're not moving that needle forward. Instead, you're creating yourself overwhelm, anxiety, because you're putting off the important items on your to-do list that need to get done so your business can scale, so you can make more money, so you can increase that revenue. So I think we need to be more mindful. And I think a lot of the messaging comes over this, show up 3 times a day, post 3 times a day. And I just don't think that's a very honest, realistic, what it looks like to be a female entrepreneur and be successful and not get burnt out, overwhelmed, and all those things.
Exactly. The other thing I want to say to that is it's important to have a plan in your business, right? So, and this is why I love the back end of, your business, Herlink, right? Because you're able to really think about, okay, if you've committed to post, let's just say once a week, let's be very simple here, once a week for your business to build that momentum, to build that consistency, and then maybe you can go on there more frequently. You can plan, you can set one day out of the entire month and plan those 4 posts, have them scheduled, and you don't have to think about that ever again for the rest of that month at least, right? Yes. And so within the Herlink system, you're able to do that. Talk a little bit more about that, Crystal.
Yes, I love that you brought that up. And it's all about cutting time. Where can you cut time? And we talked about this in our other lives before. There's lots of famous people out there who purchase all the same color socks so they can cut out the time of having to think about or find matching socks. Well, the same thing applies in business and being a successful entrepreneur. Where can you cut time, whether it's thinking about what you're going to post, creating content, all that. So Dr. Catherine just said it right. The next step is getting yourself a system that works for you, not having to log into 8-10 different platforms to run the back end of your business. So in this example, when it comes to social media and posting your social media, cut yourself some time, remove some of the time from your to-do list by using an all-in-one system where you can schedule your posts to go to all 7 different social media platforms at the exact same time. You can schedule it out a month in advance. You can check the analytics on all of that. You can put your ads all in one comprehensive system. So what Dr. Catherine is referring to is called the Herlink system. It's an all-in-one business management suite software. So no more logging into all your social media accounts to message your clients or to message people or respond in DMs. You can automate all of this, save yourself some time, frustration, and maybe actually even give yourself a little bit more time to create the content if you enjoy creating the content. So, if you're interested in an all-in-one business management system, definitely reach out to me. Hit me up on LinkedIn. I'd love to chat about it, because I'll tell you something. HerLink system was actually birthed out of my own pain point as an entrepreneur. And that's how it allows me to serve and lead with excellence and not obligation. I absolutely love to help out female entrepreneurs who feel overwhelmed, chaotic, and all over the place in managing their business, because there's a solution. There's a one tool, one software that will be a game changer in your business and in your life. And it was for me. And without it, I would have still been the overwhelmed, exhausted, running all over the place, trying to figure out how to manage my business. So that is actually how my company was birthed. And it was really about filling a need and being able to now be so passionate about it. You know, when you have been challenged by something and you crack the code and you get the solution, you want to share it with the world, right? You want to pay it forward. So I guess that's what really being a leader, serving in excellence and not obligation, that's when you know you hit it. That's when you know you get to serve, be a leader who serves through excellence, is when you hit that passion, when you find your passion because it solved something for you and now you get to share it with the world.
I love it. I love it. I love it. Yeah. What is one tip or one insight that you'd want to share with the audience?
Ooh, one tip or insight. Are you asking in regards to our title?
Yes, with regards to really leading and serving with excellence rather than obligation. Something.
Anytime you start to feel that you have to show up and you hear that word, I have to, instead of I want to, it's not a sign that you're doing anything wrong. It's a sign that you're getting burnt out and you're not putting as enough energy into what brought you here in the first place. You need to remember that once you feel like you're obligated, once you feel like it's checking the box off or that you have to, and you don't have that same passion and fire, it doesn't mean you've lost it. It doesn't mean it wasn't there to begin with. It means that it's been dimmed out. That light, that burning fire inside of you needs to be a torch. And sometimes we need to make sure that we're fueling it and making sure that it's still burning bright inside of us, if that makes any sense, Dr. Catherine. But I think it's all about reigniting that passion, getting back to your why. And if you've lost the why along the way, guess what? You're on the right track, because that is a true sign of a true entrepreneur, right? You do get lost along the track. It's not just a clear uphill battle. You'll take a couple steps back before you take those 10 steps forward again. But that's all a part of the learning journey. So you can reach that ultimate goal of always just naturally and intentionally leading with excellence.
I love that, because we do need to think about this is one thing that I would say to anyone that's listening. Reflecting on where you are and how you are showing up is so important. So just ask yourself this question based on our topic today. You know, am I showing up because I have to do this thing out of obligation, or can there be some sort of shift that can take place with how I am doing this thing, when I am doing this thing, and really coming from a perspective of service? I remember when I started the serving of 20,000 women in 20 days, and I came to that mission with a friend of mine, that movement, I like to call it, that was in June. I remember just waking up the next day without that to-do list on my head. It was, okay, I'm showing up for other people. It's more than just about me doing things. It's about how I'm serving other women. And with just that shift, I woke up with more energy, and the tasks for the day were just seen in a completely different light. And it was an amazing journey. and it will continue to be it will continue to be an amazing journey. On my stats, I've reached 10,000 women, so I'm going to be restarting this month again for full completion and beyond to reach that 20,000. And what I realized on that journey, it's not about just that goal, it's about the impact and the journey along the way. It's more about quality versus quantity, which brings us back to our topic of excellence. It's about quality. How are you showing up in your authenticity and with bringing value to other people?
You know, there's something to be said, and I think that's a great example, Dr. Catherine. You setting out this incredible goal of, you know, reaching 20,000 women in 20 days. What that did also was like reignite your passion, reignite your purpose. It grounded you back to the essence of why you're in this business and why you do what you do in the first place.
Percent.
And, you know, there's no denying in the world, nothing feels better than paying it forward. Nothing feels better than when you know you have impacted somebody. I think that's when you get the biggest reward. You know, business is great. It's great when you make the sale. It's great when you succeed. It's great when you see your business scale. But I'm telling you, nothing can account to when you have a testimonial that came from a client that says you've changed my life. When you create that type of impact, it really does root you in that why. And, you know, I guess, okay, the other tip I will share off of that, and I think everybody needs to hear, it is okay to take a break. It is actually harmful for your business and for yourself as a leader to not take a break when all of the signs are there letting you know it's time to take a break. Everyone needs to take a break, and putting that down for a little bit. And it's a part of the learning and growing process. And unless you're able to put down the rope for a little bit, unless you're able to take that break, then that growing period you're not allowing it to happen. And that growing period may just be reliant upon your next level up or not.
100%, 100%. And the reason why you're not taking a break is likely because you feel obligated to do something.
Yes, right.
Right?
And I love that you said that. That's such a perfect way to wrap this up. You know, I've been there. Every single entrepreneur, you are not immune to the fact that you will go through the obligation phase in your business. You will feel obligated, and you'll have this feeling, and it's normal. And you may actually encounter and face it through multiple times in your journey of entrepreneurship. That's normal, all completely normal. But it's about those moments where you get to the place of not feeling obligated, and when you actually get to smile and get excited about what you're doing in your business, and just knowing that it brings you joy instead of that feeling of obligation. And if you're feeling that sense of obligation coming on, Dr. Catherine said it right. That is when you need to take a break.
Absolutely, absolutely. Listening and seeing those signs that are right in front of you repeatedly. That's why they're there, right? When you're driving a vehicle, you see the stop sign, you're going to stop, right? So when you are feeling and seeing the signs of exhaustion and overwhelm and stress, those are signs for you to do something differently, to take a pause, to reflect, and to rejuvenate yourself. And I love that you said, bring back that joy into your business, because
Right?
that's what's going to make you succeed. That joy, getting back to that joy.
It's so true. And I think there's always been a misconception with entrepreneurship or running your own business that immediately you just get to be joyful because it's your business, or immediately you just have joy because you're doing what you want and you're not working for somebody else. And that's so far from the truth. It really isn't. Entrepreneurship is just as difficult as being in a 9-to-5. It is, you know, it's a different ball game. But in anything that you do, whether it's a 9-to-5, whether it's working for someone else, building your own business, really at the end of the day, you're doing what you do to bring you joy. Everyone is looking for happiness, and it's all for that. It's not any of the monetary things. It's not about scaling your business, all those things. Those things are great, and the rewards that come with the hard work that you put into things. But if at the end of the day, you reach these milestones in your business, but you don't have that joy, I'm not sure you'll feel ever fulfilled.
You won't. You won't. Bring back the joy. What a
Bring back
wonderful
the joy.
way to end.
It is, yes. Well,
How can they get in contact with you, Crystal? If anyone
yes,
wants.
definitely follow me on Instagram, Her Link System. You can find us on LinkedIn, Facebook. Reach out to me personally. I love to meet any other female entrepreneur. If you're challenged in your business, not sure how to build your website, not sure how to do anything technical on the back end of your business, HerLink is your go-to girl. It is the community, the software built specifically to support female entrepreneurs looking to master the back end of your business. So love to hear from you. If you have any tech support questions, I love those. So definitely reach out.
Wonderful. And then if you want to not compromise your wellness for your purpose-driven work in your business, then just reach out to me as well. You can go to drktap.com. You can find me on LinkedIn, Instagram, Facebook as well, all social media platforms. And just look for my name, drktap.com. And I would be so happy to help you, because as women, we feel like we have to choose one, right? You can have both. You don't have to choose between your wellness and your wealth. You can have both. So get out of that limited thinking that you have to choose one over the other. You can have both. You deserve to have both as you desire to. All right, guys, that's it for this.
Bye.
See you next week. Next month.
Yes.